naturally someone who leaves a trail of unfinished projects behind me, which can quickly feel overwhelming. Over time, I've learned a few simple habits that help me stay on top of my things and make life feel a little bit more manageable. Number 1 is to set up systems. Any way I can automate a task is great because that means I don't have to think about it. I set my bills on autopay so I never forget. This saves me a lot of mental energy so I don't have to worry about paying them on time. I also think it's great to auto set up other things with money, like putting money into saving or investing accounts. Natural systems can also be as small as doing a load of laundry when the hamper is full. I like systems like this because it keeps things from piling up, and I don't have to use as much of that mental energy to think about when I'm doing these chores. I also like to do auto refills whenever possible, but only for necessities and if I can keep track of them. I don't have a lot right now since I've moved so often, but it is nice to have things like medications just show up whenever they needed that refill. Another example of a natural system is that everything has a home. This makes it so that everything can be cleaned, put away, and found because the people living here know where it belongs and where to find it. The second habit is to set daily routines. Routines are so great because they take away that mental energy of thinking about all the things that you need to get done. For me, my routines aren't super strict, and I don't have super set schedules with my routines, but I do like to have a general guideline of the things that I get done and do every evening, every morning, and that sort of thing. So for example, I have an evening routine, and I typically do a few different things with this. I like to do a reset, so I take just a few minutes tidying up the apartment and getting everything in order. If I'm going to work the next day, I like to pack a lunch, and I find it really helpful to do a to-do list of the top 1 to 3 tasks that I need to get done for the next day. This helps me clear my mind because I know what my next day is going to look like and what I need to get done, and that helps me from stressing about all the different things on my mind that I could be stressing about. And then I also just like to get the dishwasher started. That way we have clean dishes in the morning. I also have a morning routine. I don't have a lot in this one because I get up fairly early for work in the morning and I like to get as much sleep as possible, so I do kind of the bare minimum. I do my general getting ready, but then I also like to make sure that I open the blinds. This helps me feel a little bit better in the mornings to get that sunshine. And then if it's not too cold or too hot, I also like to open the window to get some fresh air, even if it's just for a little bit. I do some really quick stretching and make sure to drink some water, but other than that, it's just general getting ready in the mornings. When we get home in the evenings or on the weekends, my boyfriend and I like to come up with a general plan of what we're going to be doing. That way we make sure that we do all the things we need to do, but we also carve out time to do the things that we want to do. Again, we don't make this super strict, but it's nice to just have a general plan of what we're going to be doing. Another routine that's been really great for me is to get outside daily. Even just a few minutes can make a big difference. I know that everybody says this, but it does actually help me feel better mentally. There's just something about being outside. I just feel so small and nature is just so beautiful. And even though I live in the city, it is nice to get some semi-fresh air. One of the great things about getting outside is that it naturally links to a lot of other things that are important to me, whether this be spending time with my boyfriend and my dog, going on walks, doing sunset hikes, which is one of my favorite hobbies, going to the hot tub, which is great for just relaxing, and even just sitting outside and relaxing is also an option for days if I'm really not feeling good and I don't have the energy to do other stuff. The third habit is the 2-minute rule. I've also heard this as the 1-minute rule or the 5-minute rule. The 2-minute rule is what I heard first, so I often just go with that one. But what it is just doing a task if it takes 2 minutes or less. What this could look like is putting things away immediately, whether that be hanging up your jacket when you get home, putting some dishes in the dishwasher, or doing small little repairs. So like if a screw needs to be tightened, just doing it as soon as you notice it. This could also just be making the bed or any other different little cleaning or daily tasks. With this one, I like to remember that future Sophie is a nice person who I care about and I want to make her life easier, because if I don't do them now, future Sophie's gonna have to do them, and then it's just gonna be that much harder once all these tasks pile on top of each other. So I like to think of it as helping out my future self with just these little things that hardly even matter to me right now. Number 4 is to make use of wait time. I love this one because it's an easy way to be a little bit more efficient throughout the day. What this looks like for me is if I'm waiting at a doctor's office, I like to go through my old emails and delete any old emails and unsubscribe from any spam that I get. If I'm casually watching a TV show, I like to go through my photo library or maybe old text messages and organize things or delete whatever needs to be deleted. While I'm waiting for something to heat up or I just have a little bit of time to kill, I like to do some easy or simple stretches. I also make it a priority to connect with others during spare time. I like to call my cousin or my grandma when I'm going on a walk, and I usually call my parents on my drive to or from work in the morning using hands-free calling. These are great because it turns a mundane activity into something enjoyable and meaningful. And number 5 is to do life resets. Life is just crazy. I mean, that's life. That's just what life is. I feel like that's just part of being a human, or maybe I'm still figuring out life. But life is always just throwing different things at you. There's ups and downs, times in life, at least for me, where I feel like I'm doing really well and then not so well. Times that are busy, times that aren't as busy. So I like to take times in life to regularly reassess my goals, reassess my space, reassess how I'm doing and what I need, if there's things I need to be doing differently. I have my daily resets that I talked about earlier. But then I also like to do weekly resets. I try to take some time each weekend to do some cleaning, organizing, and a little bit of meal prepping so I feel ready for the week ahead. I also take that time to review my priorities for the week and just what we all have going on. When I'm doing my meal prepping, I really like to prep some veggies that I enjoy. So this could be things like cowboy caviar, veggies and dip. And then I also do monthly and seasonal check-ins. When the month is over, I review my to-do list that I had for the month, and I cross out anything that I completed that I forgot to cross out, and I carry over anything that needs to be added to the next month. This is a great time for me to assess the things that I need to get done, and I also write down anything else that I think of that I need to get done. That way I can get it out of my mind and onto some paper. Seasonally, I try and take that time to assess if there's any habits that I want to adjust that aren't any longer working for me, or things that I want to include into my life. So like this winter, now that the weather is a little bit nicer where I live, I'm trying to do a lot more hiking, getting outside more, and being more active. On the other hand, these resets could also just be taking physical or mental breaks. That could look like just doing a short break, maybe taking a day off if I have enough 6 days, or just doing whatever I can to help myself at that time. So there you have it, my 5 habits that have changed my life. These habits don't take a lot of time, but I do feel like they've helped me to feel more organized and less stressed. Let me know if you've tried any of these or if you've got any other habits that work for you. I think ultimately when watching these videos, we all have things that work best for us individually, so there's no one size fits all. If you're interested, check out this video on 10 things I won't be buying in 2025. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.